This is LRSD TV Newsbreak.
How can the Little Rock School District ensure that all students will be reading on grade level by the end of 3rd grade? Expanding the Reading Recovery Program is one way. Join me as I take a look at this program to see how it can benefit elementary students.
What are we going to write about?
Oranges.
What about oranges? I like oranges. What do you want to say about oranges?
You can peel them and grow them.
You can peel them and grow them. Have you ever grown an orange?
Reading Recovery is a short-term intervention for 1st grade students who are struggling to learn to read and write at the onset of 1st grade. They have a full year of schooling before that through kindergarten, and these are students that are not taking on the learning that's necessary in literacy to be successful along with their classroom peers. So Reading Recovery is short-term, no more than 20 weeks, hopefully 12 to 20 weeks. Intensive daily lessons with a highly trained teacher to work specifically with the needs of individualized students. And when the teacher meets those students' needs, the success rate is oftentimes up around 7 to 10 out of every 10 students can be at the grade level by the end of the year. Some students take a little more time, but getting them that starting place allows them to make fast progress alongside their peers, and instead of the gap growing wider between students who tend to struggle alongside the average peers, the gap gets narrower and actually can be closed.
In that 30 minutes, it is full of, it's like just intense. Bam, bam, bam. There's really no downtime. It starts out with familiar reading, where they are reading books that they've read before, and this helps to build their fluency. And we can also introduce new things on material that they've already read. From that, we go to do a little bit of word work, and this is where we get our phonics instruction in, and also through the writing. We manipulate magnetic letters. We may use the dry erase board from time to time, masking words. And then we also do writing, which is what you saw, where the child comes up with their own story, and then we write that story, and it's in the child's language. From there, we put that story on a sentence strip. We cut the story up and let the child put it back together. And then from there we read a new book. And this is a book that they've never read before. And this is where generally we want to see them take on some of the things that we've introduced throughout the 30-minute lesson. Usually we're able to do 2 rounds a year. Okay, and that would be 4 students for each reading recovery teacher. Our goals are going to vary because it depends on what the students need. So it can be a number of things. But our hope is to just get the student in, focus in on what the child needs, and get them out as soon as we possibly can. Because the program lasts for 20 weeks, we don't like to do the full 20 weeks. 12 to 20 weeks is, we like to get them out as soon as we possibly can.
Early on, the gap isn't very wide. There is not a huge discrepancy between students who look average or above average and students who are starting to show the signs that they could have some issues or struggle in literacy learning. If we wait very long, the gap continues to grow and widen. The longer we wait, the harder it is to close the gap, the longer it takes. And also the longer that they've struggled, the harder it is for them the students to anticipate or feel success, and therefore for them to experience success. So if we start early, when the gap is very small, then we don't need much time for students to be able to meet the demands that their average classmates are expected to meet.
One-on-one, I'm only focusing on what that child needs. I'm able to really accelerate the child's learning at a faster pace with the intensity of the lessons and focusing only on what the child needs. I think it really lends itself to providing what that child really needs in reading and writing. One of the components of reading recovery is we do roaming for about 10 lessons, and that's just a time where we get to know the students, build a rapport with the students, and really build on those things that they know so that they can feel confident in knowing that you know how to do this. So when you know how to do it, I'm going to expect you to do it every time. And you know how to do this, you can do this too. And just to see their eyes light up when they start believing in themselves and knowing that they can do something, it makes all the difference in the world.
You are just too smart. Look at you, knowing that W was at the end of the word.
Reading recovery teachers in the Little Rock School District have dual role. Half of their role is the reading recovery role. The other, which is 4 students one-on-one each day. And across the year, they would serve 8 or probably even 10 students in that one-to-one capacity. The other half of their job is in intervention. And the intervention role is small group assistance to students K-5. Now, in the last 2 years across the district, those same teachers have served approximately 38 to 50 students across the year who have struggled in literacy learning K-5. So these teachers are teachers who teach these most needy students in literacy, reading, writing, and phonics, but not just in one grade level, across the whole needs of the spectrum of the school. And because of the dual role that they serve in this capacity and in this district, they're able to reach a wide span of students each year. There are 2 factors in reading recovery, and one is obviously at the student level, where students are successful. And there will continue to be students who need some support in the learning to read and write. And as classroom instruction continues to improve, the students that need some support will need it fast and need to be assured that they will have some support in learning to read and write alongside with the peers who are learning very quickly and easily with the classroom instruction. But probably the biggest payoff is in the expertise of the teachers, who have been highly trained to work with struggling readers and writers, and they're being trained ongoing. They have 1 full year of training on the onset of their work, but then they have ongoing training each year, and they're held to high standards at the national level to maintain their active registration as a reading recovery teacher, to continue to hone their skills. And they also serve as building leaders and leaders within the literacy community across the district. So the payoff is both at the student level and at the professional level, where buildings and other professionals can call upon them for their service and support. The school board approved the use of a portion of the stimulus funds to fund additional teachers to make sure that every school has reading recovery support.
I'm Tiffany Hoffman, and thanks for joining me for another positive story in the Little Rock School District. And catch us again next time on LRSD TV.
This is LRSD TV Newsbreak.